All right, so here we go on chapter 7 and chapter 8, talking about businesses and corporations. I think this stuff might be a little more interesting than talking about economic systems, but who knows? I think it's going to be something that's going to be a little bit more familiar with you guys. The first thing I want to talk about is a sole proprietorship. Sole meaning one, proprietor meaning owner, and this is just where one person owns a business. Now, when you guys think of one person owning a business, this could be in a variety of forms. It could be one person owning a flower shop. I know, like we have, like Avery's dad owns his own business. Maddie's dad owns his own business. Those are examples of sole proprietors. Seth's dad owns his own business. Those are considered sole proprietorships. There's no one there. If Avery's dad wants to go ahead and take a siding job, he can do that. A roofing job, he want to do an addition or a bathroom remodel, he can do that. It's his decision, it's his business. And really, it is the most popular type of business today. I mean, it could be something like one of you yahoos deciding you wanted to start your own lawn mowing business. That could be a sole proprietorship. You are the main owner. Jess and I have a friend who owns a business that she sells a whole bunch of stuff on Etsy. And the name of the company is called the Paisley Ribbon. And she does a lot of accessories for girls, such as like bows and headbands. And so if you ever see pretty much any of our girls wearing a bow or a headband, it's a really good chance that our friend in Florida made this. And she makes like really comfy blankets, like baby blankets. They're awesome. They're super comfortable. Not that I'm using a baby blanket. I'm a little too big for a baby blanket, but she did give a full size one that's just awesome. So comfortable. Anyway, Paisley Ribbon, you should look it up. We love it. Anyway, but that would be considered your own business. And so think about how many people in the country actually own a business like that. There's a lot. I think when we think of businesses, we think of McDonald's or, Apple or, Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever. Those aren't really truly sole proprietorships. Maybe they started off like that, but those aren't true sole proprietorships. But again, this is why we would say it's the most popular type of business today. Like Caroline's dad owns his own business as well. Sorry, forgetting other people that might be owning businesses. I'm going through that, and I'm going to start feeling guilty if I leave people out, so I'll stop. Anyway, what would be some of the advantages to having a sole proprietorship? I'll let you guys raise your hand, and I'll look across. Oh, okay, yeah. Yep, I see that hand. Perfect. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Freedom from outside control. You do not have to be told what you want to do. If Avery's dad decides that he's going to, like I said, build a deck, he could do that. And he doesn't have to be told what to do. Let's say he decides that on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, he wants to be a construction business, and on Tuesdays, Thursdays, he wants to sell tacos from a taco truck. He could absolutely do that. It's freedom from outside control. Now, I don't know how many people would buy a taco from a house builder, but maybe if you can build a really nice house, you could build a really nice taco. I don't know. But freedom from outside control. You have also freedom from being an employee. You can show up when you want. You don't have to be told what to do. What kind of stinks sometimes about being the employee is you got to be there at a certain time. You got to leave at a certain time. Get a certain dress code. But if you are the business owner, you can decide on what time you want to show up, what time you want to leave, what dress code you want to have, what days you want to have vacation, what jobs you want to bid, what jobs you want to take. You have that. And I know we have some of your parents and some family members that might be people that do hair salons. Maybe they own their own hair salon business or their own makeup company, whatever. Again, you can decide what you want to do with your hours. I know a lot of times people on Mondays that do like hair stuff aren't open on Mondays. If you want to be there, that's fine. That's up to you. It's very easy to enter and exit the market. Think of it like this. I've told you that I wanted to own a restaurant, Doug's Breakfasts. I always thought that'd be kind of fun to open up. And if I wanted to open it up, it's pretty easy for me to get into the restaurant business as far as just I need a building, I need a grill, I need some supplies, and I can enter and exit it. You think about how many people just enter and, hey, yeah, you know what, this is what I do on the side. I mow lawns. Okay, well, you do that for a little bit, and you're like, I didn't really like it, so you do something else. It's very easy to easy to enter and exit the market of a sole proprietorship. You have the freedom to retain information, meaning you decide what's going to be, what you're going to tell people about your business, what you're going to tell people about your company, and you have all the information. If I decided that I wanted to open up my own breakfast joint and I make a really, really good um, cinnamon roll French toast with some really, really good bacon or whatever, and maybe in my cinnamon roll French toast I have some ingredients that I don't want to tell people. If I don't want to tell them, I don't have to. It's easier for me to retain the information because I'm the main owner. You get into like a business and a corporation, it's pretty easy for information to kind of leak out because there's so many people involved. But if in a sole proprietorship, I can retain the information. I don't have to tell people certain things. As well as I get to gain all the profits. Isn't that really why a lot of people like to run their own businesses? Because they want to make the money. They don't want to split it with somebody. They see how much money they're able to make. They can bid a job really, really high. I think we've talked about this before with like Seth's dad and Maddie and Avery's dad and Caroline's. If they don't want to do a job, they might bid it really, really high. And if that person still says, yeah, we want you to do it, then they're like, okay, well, it's going to be a bad job. I don't really want to do it, but man, I'm going to make a lot more money on this job. And so you can gain all the profits. You don't really have to split it with anybody. But what would be some disadvantages? Let you guys raise your hand for this. Oh, yeah, you in the back. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. You have unlimited personal financial liability, meaning when you start your own business, you have to bring money to the table. And you are personally, financially liable for that business. If it stinks and it goes under, it's going to be your pocketbook that's going to take a huge hit. And so, therefore, it does become a huge liability. That's why they say a lot of times, especially with restaurants, they really close down in the first year because it's really, really tough. The first year that you start a restaurant, people don't really know who you are. And so, it might take you a while to get some momentum, but by year 3, year 4, you're actually turning a lot more profit. But right at first, you might not be able to because you are spending so much money on trying to get supplies in and personnel, and you're going to be dealing with advertising. And so there's a lot of personal financial liability. Also, a disadvantage would be a limited lifespan, meaning it really can take a huge hit if that individual who's the main business owner passes away or quits or gets a disease or something happens to them. They get in a horrible car accident. Imagine if I try to open up Doug's Breakfast Nook and as I open it up and things are going well and I have all the secret recipes and I work every single day to get this thing ready and I don't let anybody know what I put in my biscuits. I don't tell anybody what I put in my cinnamon roll French toast. I don't tell anybody how I get my bacon to be completely crispy, but not too crispy where it's crumbly and not too rubbery where it's chewy, but that picture perfect flat piece of bacon. And I don't tell people how to do that. I make biscuits and gravy that's unbelievably good. And then all of a sudden I get in a really bad car accident. I'm paralyzed. I have a head injury. And all of a sudden nobody knows how to make any of that stuff. And so if that's the case, I might have a limited lifespan of my business where if I'm out of it, it's going to die off. I have the sole responsibility of the store, and we're not just saying money. I have to be there to make sure it opens. I have to be there to make sure the money's counted. I have to be there to make sure we have supplies. I'll have to be there to make sure that we hire the right people. I have to have advertising. There's just a lot of responsibility to the store. I have to make sure all of the bills are paid. I have to make sure it's clean. It passes the health inspection, which you guys know me pretty well. My health inspection would be flawless, I'm sure of it. But you have the sole responsibility of the store. It's going to cost you a lot of time. And so that's one of the things that really stinks with the disadvantage of sole proprietorship. But again, some of the benefits can far, far, far outweigh the negatives. Now, let me say this before I get to number 2 right here. These are not the only advantages. Obviously, there are more, and you guys can bring more to the table, but these are like the 5 advantages and 3 disadvantages that should stand out to you pretty quickly. Let's move to a partnership. And under a partnership, number 2, partnership. Under a partnership, it's owned by 2 or more people. Now, you might be like, isn't a partner just 2 people? Like, howdy, partner? Well, yeah, I guess. But in this case, partners could be a lot of people. You guys have probably heard of law firms where they have partners. and it would be like the law firm of Evans, Gonzalez, Anthony, Balmer, Van Steenberg, um, and Pappenfuss. Those are all partners, and it's owned by two or more people. It could be two, but again, it could be more than just that. Now, what would be some advantages of having a partnership? Oh, yes, you on the left hand side. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's a good answer. Good. That's what I was thinking of. More management skills are brought to the table. You know, there's certain things that I might be able to do as a business manager that other people might not be able to do. And so if I'm with a partnership, let's say that I'm a really good chef, but I'm really bad at people skills. And so my business partner is the person who is getting out there and advertising for us and hiring people and doing all of the PR stuff, but I'm the person who's cooking. Like I'm the person who's in there making all the stuff. And so you bring more management skills as well as more money is brought into the business for the startup. So now instead of me and a sole proprietorship eating 100% of the cost, when I start a business, I only eat 50% of the cost. There's more accountability for the employees. Why? Because you don't have the one manager that's working on all of the hours all the time and working to himself to death. Now you have two people that has just another set of eyes. I can tell you this as a soccer coach, I love having an assistant coach there because I have another set of eyes. So when Grant or David or Caleb is not really working as hard, my other set of eyes can kind of call them out on it if I'm not able to watch them. As well as it's still pretty easy to form a business. Again, as a chef, maybe I'm like, I wouldn't mind, opening up my own breakfast nook, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not really good at PR. I'm trying to think of somebody who in your class that would be good at PR. And so I find somebody else in your class, and like, man, this person would be great at advertising my company. And so I hire them, or we work together, and they're a partnership. And so it's pretty easy to form. We just shake hands and we say, hey, we signed some papers, and we're good to go. The disadvantages of the partnership, pretty obvious here. You have to split the profits. Instead of you getting all of the money, you only get part of the money. And that becomes a little tiresome, I'm sure, for some people, and something that isn't always what you want. But again, if your company is successful, then the profits, you still get a lot of profits. You just might have to split them. Obviously, there could be conflicts between the partners. Doug's Breakfast Nook wants to transition to a different type of gravy. And the PR department said, the person who's in charge of PR says, this is just isn't going to work. People aren't going to like this. Or maybe Doug's wants to go with fresh squeezed orange juice. And other people are like, it's cheaper for us to go with this type of orange juice. There could be conflicts between partners. And that can definitely cause huge, huge issues. And that is one of the main reasons why partnerships just don't last. People grow apart. They have conflicts. They don't agree on stuff. There is still a limited lifespan of the business. Again, if one of the partners passes away or something happens, they move away, car accident, that could also hinder the business. As well as there's still a lot of personal financial liability. You're still bringing 50% of that 50% of your money to the table, and you're still heavily invested. You're still heavily invested in your time. You're heavily invested in your energy, your mental energy, and so there is a lot of personal financial liability that you are bringing to the table. Again, these aren't the only 4 advantages. They aren't the only 4 disadvantages, but these are ones that should stand out to you when you think about a proprietorship and a partnership. Tomorrow, we will talk about corporations.